Obviously, the environment down here is all salt. The ceiling's salt, the floor is salt, the walls are salt, and to an extent, the air is salt. And you breathe that in, and you can constantly taste the salt.
All right, I think we are live on the internet. Let's do a quick audio check as usual.
You should be fine. We don't have to do this every week. It's okay.
But I like doing it every week.
Okay.
Yes, we are live. I can hear both of us. Cool. All right. And we are starting off the new year right. Starting off with bit of salt.
Yes.
Fresh off of CES.
Excellent.
Feels
and
good.
It's awesome to see Oleander Rainbow after the new year. Hello, how's it going, man? Just to get this joke out of the way, I haven't seen Past the Salt since last year. Well, that's awesome because we haven't done Past the Salt since last year. So,
Facts.
all right.
Yeah, it's been like 2 weeks now. We took it up. Scarlet, it's just me. Dogs, I swear. But yes, it has been about 2 weeks now since we did the last Past the Salt, because we took it off for Christmas and New Year's. Just getting a little bit of a break there. Allowed me to get healthy after getting sick for a bit, so that was fun.
Yeah, the original plan was to do a New Year's Day podcast because it fell on a Saturday and whatnot, but you had the truth. And
I did have the coup.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. But hey, I'm back. At least I have my voice this time around.
Right, exactly. And we are streaming from my PC and my internet, so hopefully we'll be able to complete the stream today.
Yes, that is in fact the goal. With it as well, of course, to introduce ourselves, I'm your host today, Matthew Garcia, and with me I have...
Taylor Evans, hello, co-host, co-founder, Past the Salt, Tet for Thought, everything.
All right, awesome.
That shit.
And with it, I think we got a pretty exciting episode, considering that we're fresh off the heels of CES and got a little bit of exciting things there. But as usual, before we dive into that stuff, we do, of course, do thank you for watching as well. If you wish to, subscribe, go ahead and do so. We do appreciate it a lot. And if you wish to spread the good word of Tech for Thought, we got a couple platforms where you can do that. You got Twitter at tech_4, the number 4_thought, and Instagram at tech_4, spelled FOR_thought. Nice.
Hope both of y'all had a great Christmas and glad to see you're feeling better from the carrot allergies / cough. That's pretty good. Well, I hope your Christmas and New Year was great also.
Yeah, it was very nice. I at least got to spend it with family who's taking care of me. I got the sickest I was on Christmas Day, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
But I got progressively better, but outside of a bit of a coughing fits every now and then. The worst thing that happened was that I lost my voice for like a day.
And your voice was like gone on New Year's. So when we were like hanging out like online on New Year's playing some games, as we do.
Whispering the entire time.
Yeah, it was like in ASMR constantly on the Discord call.
Which is very uncharacteristic for me because I am in fact the loudest person in the group.
That is true. Yeah.
I do a good job of projecting myself, if we want to put it that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that kind of does. Anything you've done fun over the past couple weeks when we had our break there?
Directed to Oleander in the chat. Just to be clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
So nothing like fresh water. My Christmas was great, and my New Year's was okay. I mainly stayed home. Understandable.
Gotcha.
Can't knock you for that. We all pretty much did that this time around.
Mm-hmm.
All right, yeah. So with that, though, I think we're pretty good diving into the news, unless there was anything that you wanted to go over.
No, I think we're good.
All right, awesome. And let's go ahead and hop into the first piece of news here, which is kind of recapping with CES and stuff like that. Get that pulled up. Tell me when you're good on that piece.
Starting with the Nvidia one?
Yes.
Okay. Then let me just
Start
go ahead.
That piece off right.
Go ahead.
All right, awesome. Well, with it, with the conference, Nvidia announced a new graphics card, the RTX 3090 Ti, as they call it. But let's be honest, it's just Ti. It's just Ti. But with it, CES 2022.
Wait, no, Nvidia confirmed in their conference they want you to call it Ti.
Oh, they actually did now?
Yes.
To be fair, over all the... I actually haven't seen that specific part of the conference.
Okay.
But over everything else, they've been practically saying Ti. So
Yeah.
if they're saying Ti now, God send.
Apparently, they've always wanted you to say it as Ti.
That's a lie. That is a lie.
And I don't even think Nvidia knows themselves at this point. But anyway. And apparently it's short for titanium, and I never put that together until now.
Oh no, I got that because
Okay.
it's the
Yeah, it's the periodic
the
table thing. I've never put that together until now.
Yeah, that's why they always refer to it as Ti, because they
Okay,
didn't want
yeah.
to just call it Ti, because Ti doesn't make any sense and you can't associate that with titanium.
Okay.
Which is very dumb, but yeah.
You mean you'll refer to like periodic elements as like Ti,
like-
or carbon being Ka, or
I don't refer
potassium?
to gold as Og.
Okay, no. Okay.
No.
Bromium as bruh? No.
Pretty much. Rainbow said, I did get a box set of the Green Mile in the small booklet for Christmas.
Nice.
The Green Mile is very good.
All right.
Nice. But with the information here, as it says, CES 2022 press conferences aren't always the most informative, but Nvidia actually unveiled some pretty interesting products this year. Chief among those is the RTX 3090 Ti.
There we go.
I almost said Ti. Its new flagship graphics card that is likely the most powerful gaming GPU ever built. The company also announced that it was the cheapest RTX 30 series desktop GPU to date, the RTX 3050. It didn't leave laptops out either, and Nvidia also launched the new RTX 3070 Ti, or my bad, Ti, and the 3080 Ti for GPUs for laptops. With the latter available only in pricey models that cost $2,500 and up.
Oh,
Jesus, that's a right to the gut there.
yeah.
It also unveiled a new Max-Q GPU technology that will help you save your battery and obviously concerns with high-powered GPUs. That's a lot of info, but you can learn all about it and much more in under 10 minutes with our supercuts.
And that's pretty much what all we care about is the 3090 Ti and the 3050, maybe some of the laptop stuff. The rest of it was like their automotive chips and whatnot and that fun stuff. So
yeah,
not really super relevant. All right, so Nvidia was very ashamed of the 3090 Ti because of they spent less than 30 seconds on the announcement during the conference.
Yeah. Rainbow real quick says, I think of Thai food when I hear Thai. I don't think periodic unless it's potassium. Okay, that's true.
Fair enough.
Have NEG Quantum with that. Have you learned where Lords and Saviors Gork and Mork? I hear one is cunning but brutal, but the other is brutal but cunning.
All right.
Some nice Warhammer stuff there. But I mean, just another graphics card you're not going to be able to buy.
Right, exactly. And it's very powerful if you didn't find it and whatnot. Pushing up the high-end market quite a bit more for actual like gaming and whatnot. Problem is, it's built on the GP108 chip, and that is the one that is notoriously hard for the 30 series to find. Although that reminds me, I'm going to switch back to our scene so I can look this up really quick. I wonder what the 3050 is on.
The 3050?
Yeah.
I don't know on that part, but with it,
I wonder if it's GP108 too.
But yeah, it's. I mean, the 3090 Ti, I imagine is gonna be, as they said, probably the most powerful one yet. I don't expect it being too much more powerful. I would say give it usual 10%, maybe 10% max.
Think so? Okay.
Yeah, I don't like when my issue with graphic cards to some extent is that they produce so many SKUs, is that there's the steps between them just get so much smaller and smaller. It's just kind of hard to like reason it.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you're reaching like flagship levels, because then the what's it looking for? What am I? Because the price to performance is just not there.
Yeah. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, so I'm sorry, I misspoke. So the 3090 Ti is on the GA102 chip, which is the one that's very hard to find and whatnot.
Yeah, makes sense, that's the highest.
Yeah, but the 3050 that was also announced for $250 is actually on the GA106, which is a little bit more commodious. It's a little bit more of a commodity.
Is it? Because I know there were some plans of building it on like older nodes. Is that one built on like a 14 nanometer node?
What I'm looking at doesn't necessarily say. So,
Fair enough. But with it, exciting stuff. I wish we can get one for review in the future. That'd be something fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
So the 3050 is
Mhm.
like Nvidia's like new contender into like the super budget space and everything.
Yeah.
$250. Which isn't too bad. Although at that specific
No.
price point, if you needed something new for 250, it kind of makes obsolete previous things before it.
Yeah.
Although that has been the wisdom before, in today's day and age. Don't know if that still holds true.
Yeah. With it, I'm not too excited by that type of stuff. I mean, it's nice to have it available.
Mhm.
The price point isn't exactly where I want it to be personally,
Okay.
but it is what it is.
Yeah. Do you think
How much
the
is the
supply of the
3060 go?
3050 will be noticeably better?
If it's built on a different node than than what their current stuff is built on, then yes, I think it'd be better.
Okay.
Because I know like the issue is with the current nodes that they're all using, which is like it's like 7 nanometers still, I think. It's all produced by TSMC, so
They're
it's
both on the 8 nanometer process.
8. My bad. It's just you bottle up that pipeline so much, you can only produce so much at a given time. So if you produce another SKU,
Mm-hmm.
there isn't magically more 8 nanometer. You have to like find a different node to be able to do like 10 or 14 or 12, whatever the given one available is. Because I think was it and does Nvidia go through Samsung or TSMC?
They've switched, but currently they're on TSMC for their stuff.
Okay.
So that's just I partially disagree, just because I think the fact that it's on an actual different chip and everything, then I don't know. Yeah, but well, actually no, you're right. I was thinking of it a different
Yeah.
way. You're right, because it'll still be the same process, and that process can
Yeah.
only be applied across so much tools and whatnot. So
Yeah, the only benefit that you could really get is because the square like centimeters of like the amount of chips they're able to produce
mhm.
would be more beneficial with a smaller node because you could fit more chips onto a wafer,
Right.
but that still means you have to cut back production of other things.
Right. You also didn't get
Yeah.
on like a less powerful chip like the G8106 or something. You're going to get a
Mhm.
lot more produced per wafer, just because the binning tolerances are a lot better.
That as well, yeah.
So
Plus, you could take stronger chips and scale it down too if you wanted to.
right. Well, that's actually, you see that a lot in the processor space though, right? So it's like,
Hmm.
it's like i9s. Like say Intel has like a wafer, it's going to be i9s, right? Oh, this part of the wafer isn't so good. This is actually i7s. This part of the
Yeah.
wafer is even worse. This is going to be i5s. So
Yep. Pretty much.
yeah.
But yeah. So that's. I think that I I'm excited to see it depending on what they use, but I'm not holding my breath for it because
Okay.
we all know it's just gonna be bought out
Right.
immediately
Exactly.
again.
Yeah.
Since NEG is watching at a quantum, I know to tell the people who are watching earlier, because my dad does watch our channel. He, I told him, hey, I'm getting ready to do the podcast. You could turn down the TV a little, and he's like, "What are you guys gonna raffle off the water cooler?" I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Come on, aren't you guys gonna give away a water cooler or something?" I'm like, "No, not yet, at least. Get our own branded water coolers before we do that." I think we're good to move on to our next story, wouldn't you say?
I think so. Yeah.
All right.
So let's talk about we talked about Team Green. Let's talk about Team Red now.
Exactly, Team Red. With it, actually did choose out a good article because it does actually have a list of like their given achievements, I think.
Yeah.
But with it from CERN.com, we have AMD's 5 biggest announcements at CES 2022. With definitely the biggest one being a new Ryzen Radeon chips for desktops and laptops. Actually, I don't think that. No, that's their APUs. I was wrong. The biggest piece is later on. But AMD brought several new processor announcements to CES 2022, enabling a fresh wave of laptops and desktops that will give channel partners new refresh opportunities. At a virtual press conference Tuesday, the Santa Clara, California-based company unveiled new Ryzen processors and Radeon graphic products for desktops and laptops, all of which are coming this year. They include the new Ryzen 6000 mobile processors, the Ryzen 7 5800X3D, the Ryzen 7000 desktop processors, and several new additions to the Radeon RX 6000 lineup. right, there we go. All right, Kappa 1, 2, 3 for water cooler giveaway.
No, you must.
Stop.
We will auction off the water cooler.
Right.
All right.
But for the next piece here, it says AMD launches the Ryzen 6000 CPUs for laptops. And AMD used CES 2022 to mark the launch of the Ryzen 6000 CPUs for laptops across three major segments: thin and light and gaming, or thin and light, gaming, and content creation and commercials. That's or gaming content. They list that weird. Uh, the Ryzen 6000 mobile CPUs are based off TSMC's 6 nanometer manufacturing process, and they mostly use AMD's new Zen 3 Plus architecture, which provides performance and efficiency gained over Zen 3 architecture that was introduced in 2020. The high performance, ultra efficient architecture sports 50 new and enhanced power management features and adaptive power management framework, which allows the new chips to support up to 24 hours of life for video playback, AMD said. That would be impressive if it's true. Give Apple a little bit of rivalry there. And AMD expects the new Ryzen 6000 mobile processors combined with previous generations of Ryzen 5000 chips to power more than 200 premium laptops this year, with availability starting in February. And most of the new processors come with AMD's RDNA 2 graphics architecture to deliver the major leaps in gaming performance. They'll support DDR5 memory as well as PCIe 4.0 and USB 4 connectivity. There's also the first x86 processors to fully support advanced Windows 11 security features with Microsoft's Pluton, or I believe I said that right. Pluton?
Yeah.
Okay. Security process that is integrated into the chips.
Oh, come on. That's essentially more hardware level DRM that you find. It's the same thing you find on the Xbox. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's. We'll circle back around to that.
Come on, AMD.
But the U series for ultra thin laptops is headlined by the Ryzen 7 6800U, which comes with 8 cores, 16 threads, and a maximum boost of 4.7 gigahertz, a base frequency of 2.7 gigahertz, and a combined L2 and L3 cache of up to 20 megabytes.
Imagine how toasty your balls are going to be with that thing on your lap.
You don't have to worry about winter ever again.
Exactly.
But it also supports 12 GPU cores, a maximum graphics frequency of 2.2 gigahertz, and the TDP range of 15 to 28 watts.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
The H series is headlined by Ryzen 9 6980HX, which comes in 8-core 16-thread and a maximum boost frequency of 5 gigahertz, a base frequency of 3.3 gigahertz, and a combined L2 and L3 cache of 20 megabytes, 12 GPU cores, a maximum graphics frequency of 2.4 gigahertz, and a thermal design power of 45 or more watts. With the Ryzen 9 6900HX hitting 5 GHz for gaming laptops, the new processor features AMD's fastest clock frequencies yet, according to David McAfee, Corporate Vice President and General Manager of AMD's Client Business Unit. All right, before we move on, what are your thoughts initially?
Don't really care about laptops, in all honesty. Yeah, I'm gonna be real with you, Chief. I think there's really... Unless you're really just going for a gaming laptop, which not all of those were and whatnot, there's only so much processing power you need for like Excel and whatnot going. So yeah, it's like packing that much power into like an ultra thin laptop. It's cool that they can do it, but at the same time, is it too practical?
Mm-hmm.
So
gotcha there.
That's probably my concern for it. So.
Yeah, I guess it just also depends on the level of power efficiency, because Apple has been able to demonstrate that you can have a lot of power with a extreme amount of efficiency tied to it.
Yes.
So it's a question of can they replicate that success? Because Apple's disrupted the laptop market massively. Nobody can deny that.
And I think it's like when Apple went in to design the M1 and everything, they thought about that from the very start. And while AMD is like able to make a lot of like very beneficial revisions to their Zen architecture, doesn't. There's only so much you can add in or modify to an already existing architecture, as opposed to just building it from the ground up like Apple did and everything with that in mind. Because starting with that in mind, that's going to influence so many design decisions all the way through, which is why Apple made such ripples and everything. So
Very, very true.
Yeah. Although, again, if on the PC side of things, of course, this does look cool for AMD stuff. Zen
Yep.
laptops in general have been pretty good the
Yeah,
past few
they have
years.
it. They have been pretty strong. I'll give them that.
You could give the water
Rainbow.
cooler money to a good cause. Yeah, fair enough. Donate it to like WWF or whatever, like Team C's or whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, one thing interesting that I have seen that I found interesting would be pretty cool to do as well
Mm-hmm.
is that I've seen a channel do where the amount of growth that they have in a given month in terms of subscriber count and all that,
Yeah.
they donate that many liters of water to a given cause.
Okay.
I forget the name of the cause specifically, but I think that'd be pretty darn cool to do, especially with
The meme of
our,
hydration. Yeah.
the meme of hydration as well as
Yeah.
us being hydro bros.
I'm
Or
happy
hydro
for
homies.
the 5 people who want a gaming laptop that's more thin than a strain bean. Yeah.
That's very true.
Yeah, it's like, how thin do you really want it? It's like,
Uh, Let's be honest. As long as it keeps it under 90 degrees, we're fine.
exactly.
But yeah, that I'll have to look, find out where I found that video, or where I found that idea. But it was a really cool concept in terms of like, hey, we grew by this many subscribers. We're going to donate that many liters of water,
Okay.
and that would be rather fitting for our channel, I think.
Yes.
So yeah, that's something we can do.
Okay.
Yep. All right. Let's pull that piece back up. So I think that kind of like touches on at least the CPUs for laptops.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I don't doubt they're going to be strong. AMD has been very good about that type of stuff. I'd just be more concerned with how toasty they get.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then the subsequent throttling or even damage.
that's true. Yeah,
Yeah. Because like a lot of heat generated on the laptop and everything will actually further contribute to battery wear over time, which is already an issue on laptops. So
yeah. Which they do have some new cool power management stuff built into it
Mhm.
that helps balance that type of stuff out. So if given things more GPU bound, they'll divert the power to where it's needed.
yeah.
I forget the specific names for it, but they do have some stuff when it comes to power efficiency. I'd be more interested to see that in practice to see how well that goes.
Uh-huh.
All right. But for the next big announcement, AMD reveals Ryzen 7 with 3D chiplet technology. So AMD also revealed the new Ryzen 7 CPU coming in the spring that is said to be the world's fastest gaming processor thanks to its use of chip makers' 3D chiplet technology. The new Ryzen 7 5800X 3D desktop CPU will provide, on average, 15% faster performance for gaming compared to the Ryzen 9 5900X. This performance gain is made possible by a vertical cache that is stacked on top of the CPU, approximately called the 3D V cache, which gives the CPU a total L2 and L3 cache of 100 megabytes.
Congratulations, AMD. You have fucked up naming.
Yeah, I mean, it is, yeah.
Normies are going to be going to the store looking for like the best processor. They're going to see higher, like gaming processor or whatever. They're going to see higher number better, right? And then still buy the 5900X, even though this might actually outcompete it. Anyway, good job,
But
AMD.
yeah. To be fair, you could say that with like literally any company.
I know. I'm just saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Tech has never had good names. But moving forward, it does have much higher than Ryzen 9's 5900X, 770 megabytes. And he said that 3D V cache has a bigger impact on games that have an incredible sensitivity to memory latency. This includes Watch Dogs Legion, which saw up to a 40% performance improvement when comparing Ryzen 7 5800X 3D to Ryzen 9 5900X. The 3D chip also saw up to a 20% improvement in Far Cry 6, Gears 5, and Final Fantasy 14.
Wow. 20% performance increase for an 11-year-old MMO. Excellent.
But on a competitive, you have to admit, at least
I understand why they like keep that in there because it's a popular game. It's the same reason why CS:GO is in there, but it's like I would not be.
To be fair, on the scale of MMOs, it is a very detailed MMO as well.
That is true. Yeah. Move over, at spots. You've lost the I suck at naming products contest. Yeah.
True. But on a competitive level, AMD is considering the Ryzen 7 5800X 3D a victory against Intel based on a handful of tests, only half of which show AMD in the lead. The 3D chip was 20% faster for Final Fantasy XIV and 10% faster for Shadow of the Tomb Raider and Far Cry 6, according to AMD, but it was a tie for Watch Dogs Legion, Gears 5, and Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Counter-Strike is not a memory-intensive game, so that
No,
would
but I think it's like I think what they're actually no, it's pretty much just based on threads and block. So
yeah,
yeah,
because it does more math than anything.
yeah.
But in addition to its 100 megabyte cache, Ryzen 7 5800X3D sports 8 cores, 16 threads, a 4.5 gigahertz boost frequency, and 3.4 gigahertz base frequency at a 105-watt thermal designed power. The processor is compatible with AMD 400 and 500 series motherboards. I'm interested to see this as a proof of concept to see how important L2 and L3 cache is, because if this does work out and does prove to be rather valuable, could you imagine seeing it in future lineups just as a standard?
Well, okay. So the big thing here is the 3D V cache
Yeah,
and everything, because L2 and L3 cache exist on every x86 processor. But
yeah.
yeah. To be fair, Final Fantasy XIV is an MMO that doesn't have a terrible fan base I'm aware of, nor does it have associative baggage because the company made it is garbage. Unlike WoW. That is true. Final Fantasy XIV has seen a huge exodus of ex-WoW players the past few years, myself included, going to it
Yeah.
for many different reasons. And then the drama with Activision Blizzard this past year has only accelerated it. So
You mean last year?
last year. Yeah, sorry. Over the course of the past 365 days. Let's go with
I'm
that.
just messing with you, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I never played WoW, so that's not my bag. I'm more of an Eve Online type nerd, so spreadsheets in space. Let's
How's the
go.
Doctor Who collab going?
I don't want to talk about it.
Cringe AF.
It is really cringe. Even it it's so bad that even the Doctor Who like subreddits and forums and whatnot were like, why?
I can't imagine
Like, what do we have in common?
I can't imagine like the Who fan base would jive well with the E fan base.
No.
It'd be the equivalent of putting like this woke feminist type chick into like a Modern Warfare 2 lobby. In all honesty,
You know what's the worst part of it? Most of it is like pilot cosmetics.
that's it.
Most of it,
They
yeah.
couldn't even do like an exploration event or something centered
I
around
imagine
like
they're
the
going
TARDIS
to,
or
but that's been
something.
their biggest
Or
piece.
okay,
I imagine they're going to, but that's been their biggest piece of like
okay.
advertisement is showing off
Yeah.
the pilot cosmetics.
Yeah.
And like if you made pilots like more useful and like fun to look at, then maybe, but like Jesus.
It's like
They took
it's
away the
like
captain's quarter and it's all useless.
right, they strapped the whole walking in stations thing. It's like concept-wise, it was cool. It just didn't come at the right time during the game's history. I could go on and on about it. I'm a huge like Eve, like history of development and update nerd and everything, and
Yeah.
like
We,
community
we could
historian
we could
nerd.
do this a different day.
Yeah, exactly. Finally, Rainbow said, "It's okay. I'm not into WoW either. I didn't care, and I really don't care now." Yeah,
Fair
fair
enough.
enough. All right. Next page of the article.
Yep.
Right, ready when you are.
All right. Definitely the biggest piece of, at least the biggest announcement is the 5 nanometer Ryzen desktop CPU will push 5 gigahertz on all cores.
Mm-hmm.
AMD is promising a whole new generation of Ryzen desktop processors in the second half of this year, and it shows that the CPU will be capable of pushing 5 gigahertz on all cores. This new lineup will be known as the Ryzen 7000 series and will use the company's Zen 4 architecture on a 5 nanometer manufacturing process to extend AMD's performance per watt leadership.
Pet what?
I didn't even notice that. Performance pet watt. Jesus. But the CPU will arrive in the second half of 2022 alongside the new AM5 LGA 1718 socket for motherboards that will enable new capabilities like DDR5 memory and PCIe 5.0 connectivity. As a teaser, AMD showed a live demo of Halo Infinite running on Ryzen 7000 CPUs at a high frame rate that with all cores running at more than 5 gigahertz. And while the new AMD 5 socket means customers will have to buy new motherboards for the Ryzen 7000 CPUs, McAfee said that the socket will be compatible with existing AM4 coolers.
It's been how many? It's been like 5 years. It's okay. You can upgrade your motherboard now. It's okay.
Pretty much. I remember when that was such a big deal when people were complaining that they had to upgrade their motherboard after like 2 or 3 years. Just like you realize like Intel does that like all the time.
Right.
But I think is you know credit to AMD for being able to squeeze as much as they were able to out of the AM4 socket.
Yeah.
That part was impressive.
Although there were some reasons the past couple of years to upgrade it to a more modern motherboard, just because of how the chipset was handled and stuff and whatnot. So
very much so.
There are still people rocking old motherboards for AM4.
That is true. But yeah, it's like me personally, when these drop, I imagine the 5000 series is going to go down in price, and I'm going to try to pick up a 5900X to plug that into my system.
Nice.
Just a sweet little upgrade from the 3900X. Get a lot more performance out of it for the same power usage.
Nice.
It's gonna be nice. 100% proofread, ladies and gentlemen. Hashtag sarcasm. Yeah. To be fair, that's also on the editor.
Yeah. I can see how that's missed, though.
Yeah.
Considering how when reading it, you just completely glanced over it. Like, oh yeah, this definitely says performance per watt. I can see how the writer made that mistake because, R and T are right next to each other. I can see how the editor didn't catch that either. So it's not too bad. But yeah.
As well as it could have been an autocorrect as well, depending on what platform they were using to write it.
Yeah. It's just funny. It's funny.
It is pretty funny. Not often you see little mistakes like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, for the new Ryzen 7000 series, I don't doubt it's going to be amazing. The chip itself, like, can you scroll up to show it at least?
I was already on the last page.
Oh, all good. But just to like show it real quick, it's such a weird die design.
Like that heat spreader is weird.
Yeah, like I don't get it. I really don't. Like, why would you do it that way? I would just be I'd be scared like accidentally like messing up one of the exposed little circuits there.
Somehow I don't think that'll be representative of the final product.
No, she pulled out a chip that looked like that.
Oh, okay. Well, be careful with the thermal paste, ladies and gentlemen.
Make sure it's non-conductive.
Exactly. I would not even risk doing liquid metal for the cooling interface.
I would not do that.
Yeah.
That would be scary.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, now I'm good for the next one.
All right, cool. Go ahead.
All right. With it, AMD expands the Radeon RX 6000 lineup with new laptop and desktop GPUs. Let's skip that part. AMD added 5 new 6nm 35-watt GPUs to the Radeon RX 6000M lineup for gaming laptops, which will be available in systems from OEMs starting in the first quarter. The new Radeon RX 6850M XT provides 7% faster performance on average than the Radeon RX 6800M, according to AMD, and the company said the new Radeon RX 6650M XT will complement, which is complemented by the also new Radeon RX 6650M, provides a 20% boost over the existing Radeon 6600M. Man, names are tough. But the new Radeon RX 6500M and 6300M, on the other hand, provide new entry-level GPU options, which the former offerings up to 200% faster performance than Nvidia's GeForce MX 450, AMD said. The chipmaker also introduced a new mobile graphics lineup for ultra-thin laptops, the Radeon RX 6000S series, and these GPUs all are optimized for power efficiency, and they include new technologies that optimize them for performance per watt in laptops that weigh less than 4.5 pounds. They will be available in laptops starting in the first quarter of this year. AMD said that the new Radeon RX 6800S can deliver more than 100 frames per second using maximum settings in selected games. From a competitive standpoint, the company said the GPU can provide 10% better performance than Nvidia's GeForce RTX 3080 on selected titles at 1080p resolution. The new Radeon RX 6700S is also capable of providing more than 100 frames per second using high settings in select games, and the new Radeon RX 6600S can reach over 80 frames using high settings. As for desktop gaming, AMD added 2 new graphics cards to its existing lineup, the Radeon RX 6500 XT and the Radeon RX 6400. The Radeon RX 6500 XT is being pitched as a mid-range option, offering a performance boost over Nvidia's GeForce GTX 1650 by
God, I don't
20%,
care.
60% in select titles, according to AMD. Well, I mean, one nice part is just to touch on it real quick.
Yeah.
The 6500 XT is going to be $199.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's beginning at available beginning January 19th.
I was more saying I don't care to all like the laptop stuff and whatnot, just
Yeah,
because. Yeah. The
but
desktop stuff is okay.
yeah, the RX 6400 will only be available in pre-built systems starting in the first half of this year.
Oh, cool. Never
That was
mind.
a lot to read.
Yeah. Do you think the reason why there's such an emphasis on laptops apparently all of a sudden is because that might be one of the most reliable ways to do a GPU?
Yeah,
Okay. Do you like any
yeah.
sort of system that can run any sort of game, you know?
No, I
As dope to the
100%
laptop.
believe it.
Okay.
No, it definitely makes sense, and because dedicated graphics cards have just been absorbed by scalpers and miners.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense that they're putting more of an emphasis on laptops because it's not as common for miners to buy laptops. It still happens,
Yeah.
but
Just
it's
much
not nearly as
rarer.
prevalent.
Yeah.
Yeah, not nearly as prevalent because they take up much more space and require a lot more power associated
They
with
also have a
running
much more
cores.
higher investment cost to them and whatnot, just because it's
Oh
like
yeah,
you can run several GPUs off the same CPU, but you can't do that
yeah,
with laptops.
yeah, and space as well.
Exactly.
They take a lot more space.
Yeah.
Did you hear they put the master chip in the hot pocket?
No, I did not.
But I mean, it's nice to see them like pushing this type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I like the price point that the 6500 XT is at. But from what I've heard in terms of testing and performance wise, it's just basically another RX 480.
Yeah, or even 580 for that matter.
People were comparing it to 480 with
Oh, okay.
performance and stuff, from what I've heard.
Yeah, and it's like AMD really needs to. I don't want to say they need to focus on one, but it's just more like, I don't know. It's like you always see. It's been a long-standing pattern for AMD. If their CPU side is good, their GPU side falls behind. Or the GPU side is okay, their CPU side falls behind. You know.
Yeah. Well,
So
with it as well, they've been on the 6000 series for a while now. And whenever they've taken another step with that given lineup,
hmm
it has always been on the lower end. They've released the 6900 XT, and that was their high end. Like that was the point.
yeah,
But it's, I mean, and the price for performance is not there either, like on their CPU side. So it's a lot more questionable in terms of their decisions.
yeah,
I think they've gotten better, but they're not where they should be.
no.
I think that touches on that.
hmm
All right, now for the last piece of the AMD stuff, because there was a lot of AMD stuff. But AMD said it's updating its software suite for Radeon graphics with the new features that will bring driver-based spatial upscaling to thousands of games.
This picture that they have in the artwork reminds me of like that Spongebob gif. Magic. Gaming. You know.
Imagination.
Exactly.
But the new feature called Radeon Super Resolution is powered by AMD's Fidelity FX Super Resolution technology, and it uses upscaling technologies to improve game performance at near native resolutions. Other new features in the AMD software release include a new version of AMD Link, which lets users play PC games on other devices from anywhere, and AMD Privacy View technology, which uses head and eye tracking technology from eyewear to deliver increased levels of privacy.
What?
I imagine like some sort of like Windows Hello type thing, I guess. I don't get
I
it.
don't know. What? That's
I
news
don't
to
get
me.
it.
Does anybody know about? Okay. Anyway.
We'll do some more research into that later on. But AMD said it also expands the capabilities of its smart technologies with Ryzen 6000 series, now able to use the company's smart access memory technology. The company has also enhanced AMD's Smart Shift, now known as AMD Smart Shift Max, to support a broader range of games and double performance across selected titles, which when pairing certain Ryzen CPUs and Radeon GPUs. The chipmaker introduced a new technology called Smart Shift Eco that is said to be said it can double gaming time on a laptop's battery when using a system that has a Radeon RX 5800 or 6850M XT GPU and an AMD Ryzen 6900H series GPU or CPU. The company said another technology called Smart Access Graphics can provide a 15% performance boost as well.
Idiot Bots is the best Spongebob episode, at least in my opinion. As a refresher, it's the Imagination Rainbow episode. Okay, yeah,
That is a top tier episode, but as a band geek, my all-time favorite will always be the Bubble Bowl.
Okay.
It is such a good episode.
Is that the one where the guy crashes into the blimp and causes the Hindenburg?
Yeah,
There's literally a
guard
terrorist
people,
attack in that episode. It's
kind
hilarious.
of, but it's where the people like the guards are twirling the flags and they take off and they
Yeah.
go upward bound and I think they do crash into a blimp and then then the one dude starts playing taps.
It's
It was
horrifying.
It was hilarious. Bubble Bowl was an amazing episode. That and the
Okay.
Magic Conch is also really funny.
That is the most annoying episode.
The Bubble Bowl is the best episode. It's such a top tier like episode. You would never expect it. But that kind of touches on the AMD stuff. I mean, they announced a lot of stuff this time
Yes, they
around.
did.
Most of it, I would say, is for the good.
Yeah.
Some of it does leave questions, but it's just a matter of time before we get some information.
AMD always has very strong showings at CES.
No Weenies Allowed also gets an honorable mention. That's true.
Okay.
I'm AMD had a strong lineup. They showed their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely put a lot more out there than I would say almost every other company. But they
Yes.
just pretty much announced their plans for this year, which is nice.
Yes.
Not much is going on outside of that. Any things you take away from it?
Not really an AMD guy in that sense. The 3D cache is cool. I'd like to see if it actually makes any sort of meaningful difference at first, and then maybe it'll trickle down to Intel or other CPU manufacturers possibly doing something similar. Not sure yet. So that's pretty much that's as like nerdy as it is. That's pretty much the highlight for me in that, just to see. Okay, let's see if this actually makes a difference.
Yeah, no, I'm completely down with that. I'd love to see this proof of concept, see if it actually can come to fruition and be beneficial for the market to take hold of it.
Yeah.
It is nice to see 3D chip design make a presence in our systems now.
Yeah, because we talked about last year. We talked about Samsung with their RAM, their ECC RAM memory, having like the 3D chip stacking and whatnot.
Yeah,
And
so
how
you
they're
can get
able to
like
get
756 gigs.
Yeah,
on a stick.
terabytes of RAM on servers. Yeah,
But the only other time we've seen it is in HBM, and that has not really made a presence since the 5000 series RX card or
you would have to
Radeon
tell me
card.
on that one. Yeah,
I'm pretty confident that's the last time it showed up, because
Okay.
I know they debuted it with the Fury X with HBM, which was very hit or miss. Because I had one of those cards. They did something with HBM 2, but it's really not that 3 stacking technology really hasn't been seen anywhere since. Just because if you do it wrong, you could burn the chip from the inside out.
Right. And I think also at the time, because that was only the span of like 7 some odd years ago and everything that they first really started experimenting with it on the memory side of things, at least.
Yeah.
And it's like things were still relatively spaced out in terms of the space between transistors and everything. So it's like now that I believe it's like as the processes got shorter, smaller and smaller and everything. We've been on a consistent shrink for a while now.
Yeah.
Intel, discounting Intel there, because they had issues going down. But yeah, it's like I think it's like
that Skylake architecture.
yeah, it's like 3D is cool, but let's wait until you start running into like problems between like spaces and whatnot. And it's only been within the past couple of years that we've actually started seeing some of those problems in between transistors come up as we get shorter and shorter. So it's like it makes sense. Okay, well it's like if we're trying to match out that plane, let's go. Let's explore the other planes. So
Yeah. So it's one of those things that kind of like ties into Moore's law there, where the smaller you go, you definitely get your transistor density going up, no doubt about that. But Moore's law will break when we figure out how to stack things into the third dimension,
Yeah.
because then it's gonna be interesting. But
Yes.
I believe the concern, like I said, was more just like I'd fear for the given chip or something to burn itself from the inside out, because you can't cool in that center. That's why they keep it on the one dimension.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, who knows? Maybe they'll crack it one day.
Yeah, maybe.
All right. I think that's pretty good for that topic, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
Now, here's something I'm actually really excited for. Intel's stuff. Oh, it's gonna be spicy. But with it, Intel CES 2022 live blog and Alder Lake Arc GPUs and more. So with it, scroll down here. This is like a live updates to go along with it. Good to know. Starting with the first one here, Intel unveils some new products today on January 4th during its keynote addressed at CES 2022, and computing enthusiasts have a lot to get excited about. Notably, Intel unveiled the first Alder Lake laptop chips. These CPUs are a big deal because they're built on a hybrid architecture. That means they have a set of high power performance cores and a group of weaker high efficiency cores on each chip, governed by an embedded microcontroller called Intel Thread Director, which aims to intelligently manage workflows across all cores for optimal performance.
I don't know why the page is just randomly refreshing like that all of a sudden, so please just bear with it.
They just did it to me as well, so
Okay.
that's a website thing.
Yeah.
Oh, is it because they're updating stuff with it?
No, this should already be
Maybe.
done. This was back on the 4th.
Yeah. But where was I? Because I had to scroll back down. There we go. Um, Comparing it to something, Apple's own hybrid M1 Pro and M1 Max chips helped the 2021 MacBook Pro outperform the lion's share of Intel-powered Windows laptops we tested last year. And that's a big challenge, one Intel needs to answer for if it wants to remain competitive. A handful of Intel Alder Lake desktop CPUs were released in late 2021, but today was the debut of Alder Lake's laptop chips. Intel's also shared some updated on the new Arc line of discrete graphic cards it announced last year. Coming from the first Arc GPUs are now shipped to PC makers, and announcing that a number of it just refreshed again. Just announced that a number of PC games, including Kojima's production Death Stranding Director's Cut, will support Arc features like ray tracing and XeSS upscaling.
Sexy
The first
upscaling.
Xe upscale, or it's a XeSS
That was me
upscaling.
joking. Yep.
Okay, but yeah. But the first batch of Arc GPUs, codenamed Alchemist, is slated to launch a first half of 2022, and this confirms they're on track to hit that mark. And read further below for that type of stuff. Any interesting notes?
I think okay. So does I actually watch the Intel keynote and everything? So without having to go through like the live blog here and whatnot,
Yeah.
basically what's going on is Intel's they're doing the KS Alder Lake stuff and whatnot. That's gonna be they're gonna be have a much higher frequencies than the previous release like K models and whatnot, minus of course the graphics on them. So yeah, that's one highlight there. And then, they also have their HK stuff, which is in their laptops. And the big claim is that they say that the upcoming i9 12900 HK, which is the when the laptop just announced, is going to be more powerful than the M1 Max on the MacBook Pro. So have to see that. And then the Optimus GPUs, they look to be, the details were kind of scarce on those. They look kind of mid-tier. In the sense of like mid-range, which some linked benchmarks beforehand kind of showed and everything. But you know what?
Yeah.
I think that's just exactly what the market needs right now for just so many people who just want to have a system for gaming at this point, And because they're not as advanced, they're not as high-end as like the RTX stuff and whatnot, these might actually, they're built on a older process. They might actually be quantitative. Like they might actually have quite a bit of quantity to them.
Yeah, which would be super nice. I think the important part about Arc is going to be its price point.
Yes, that's going to be the key.
Yeah, I was expecting a mid-tier card because it's kind of like a first rendition for Intel. So I don't have my hopes up for like a 3090 Ti or Ti killer. Like that's not what it's going to happen. It's going to be a nice mid-range card to compete in the middle, but where Intel has to shine is that price point because
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be a huge jump in quantity of GPUs. And if they can hit that price just right, I think they're going to nail it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's going to be exactly what the market needs. And so,
Yeah,
yeah. And it might also
which will
cause
be
Nvidia to look at their own pricing for like that mid-range area too, you know?
yeah. I mean, if it makes both Nvidia and AMD kind of look at what they're doing in terms of the price points, because let's be honest, they've been gouging a little bit the past couple of years with everything going on.
Yes.
So it's going to be interesting to see where we go from here on that point. But I'm excited. I'm very excited to see what Intel brings to the table.
Yes. And maybe the spring-ish is when we're expecting it, which the spring
That would
is
be
until
nice.
like May or June this year. So,
Yeah. Hey, it's gonna be good stuff.
yeah.
Uh, any other interesting stuff taken away?
Not really. More, laptop chips, both about the M1 stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right. With that, on to Razer.
Yes. And this booth is always so fun to visit at CES when we've gone. It's almost always my favorite booth all the time with all their stuff.
Oh, it's always awesome.
Yeah.
Let's start with the Project Sophia. But with Razer's Project Sophia, it's a concept turned your desk into a modular computer, which is very cool.
Mm.
Razer is no stranger to wild CES prototypes, and CES 2022 is no exception. The company revealed its new Project Sophia concept, which aims to build an entire modular desktop computer into a desk that looks like Star Trek L-Car's console from Come to Life. Very true. It does look like
Hmm.
straight ripped out of Star Trek.
Yeah.
But Razer has a modular computer aspirations before. There was a 2014 Project Christine,
I
a
remember that.
yeah, that's something old right there.
Hmm.
A precursor to Project Sophia's that imagined a desktop tower that was built out of easily swappable Jenga-like bricks. 2020's Tomahawk took a more practical approach to that concept based on Intel's Element NUC design. But Project Sophia feels like Razer's conceptual tendencies turned to 11. The desk is designed to feature 13 different swappable module slots, where users can add in a wide array of different pieces, temperature readouts, touchscreens, applications launcher or touchscreen application launchers, dedicated chat and counter displays, wireless Qi charging, a mug heater, pen tablets, audio mixer, CPU and GPU monitors, and more. Razer imagines that the modular nature of this computer desk will allow users to customize it to their specific needs and use cases. A streamer, for example, will be able to easily snap on more powerful speakers, microphones, and cameras for streaming, with extra displays to monitor their followers chatting, while a video editor could add sound mixing and editing modules for focusing on work. All these pictures are really cool.
I know.
Uh, but as for the actual PC part, Razer's concept imagine that built into the desk to in a custom-built magnetically attached chassis that can easily removed so that users can swap out parts when they get a new CPU or GPU. The whole thing is attached to a massive OLED panel, either 65 inches or 77 inches, to display your game in the best possible quality. And of course, there's plenty of Razer RGB chroma lighting, and it's still a gaming PC after all, even if it looks like a desk.
This is so cool.
It these concept images are just awesome.
I'm gonna
This
fan
is
through
like
some of the pictures here on the stream.
go for it. This is the future. Like it's so like I would love to be able to sit down and like test one of these things.
Right?
Rainbow does says this is a Star Trek next generation stuff. Not that I have anything against the OG series or Deep Space Nine or Enterprise, and I'm not opening the can of worms that is Discovery. Okay, Star Trek Next Generation is probably my
Probably the
favorite Star
best. It's my
Trek
favorite.
series.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just confirmed. That's the one with the first generation Enterprise, correct?
I forget.
I think it was like it was the first Enterprise in terms of like starting to travel away from Earth and whatnot.
Oh, okay. Has
I
Patrick
forget.
Stewart.
I'm thinking of a different one.
Okay.
But let me. I need to look this up now.
All right. I'll continue reading from the article here. Of course, Razer's history of flashy CES prototypes has typically been just that, a series of fanciful, one-off projects shown off annually as an example of the potential of future gaming PCs or accessories which almost never turn into real products. And looking at the flashing Project Sophia renders, it's hard to imagine any other fate for the idea than Razer's product Graveyard, alongside previous showcases like 2014's modular Project Christine, 2017's triple-screen Project Valerie, which is awesome. That was the big triple-monitored
Yes.
triple monitor laptop, or 2018's phone docking project Linda. Modular computing devices are hard. Even the fairly standardized world of ordinary PC building is rife with different specs for SSDs, motherboard sockets, and RAM. Proprietary systems are even harder. Remember Google's ill-fated modular Ara
that was
smartphone project?
Star Trek Enterprise. That was the one with the first generation first generation Enterprise going out.
Mhm.
That was the one. I really like that one.
Yeah. The only way something like Project Sophia would exist is if Razer is willing to build all the modules and accessories itself, and even if it is willing to do that, it's hard to imagine that the cost would be anything less than astronomical, especially when compared to the perfectly functional alternative of buying normal accessories and having them sit on a normal desk. That's all fine and good and all, but having the screen flip up from the desk that's also your PC, can you do that? No, didn't think so.
Imagine having one of those rollable TVs built up into it.
Right, exactly.
That is like icing on the cake.
Mm-hmm. Still, as is the case with the most of Razer's CES concepts, it's still cool to see that the company is willing to explore fanciful ideas like the futuristic Project Sophia desk, even in the likely case that the computer desk concept never sees the commercial light of day. Yeah,
that's true.
And that's kind of what I like about Razer. They always just have these insane concepts they show off once per year, but that's kind of what CES is all about. Is just like throwing stuff at the wall. That's like, oh, this is cool. Yeah. This is a possible concept.
Raspberries does say, I do not see a water cooler behind Taylor. He is unsubbing.
All right.
That's your fault, Thailand.
Yep.
And NEG Quantum, what the hell is a Star Trek? I just want to picture a goddamn hot dog. Okay. Raspberries also says, I see Matt's internet isn't shitting the bed today. Or shutting the bed, my bad. There's a particular reason for that. We're not using my internet.
Yeah.
We're using Thailand's internet today.
Exactly.
Star Trek Enterprise has the theme song that is a bass breaker. It's either make it stop or there's singing or they're singing along. That's true. All right, we could nerd all about Star Trek some other time.
Yeah. I don't know. It's the Razer. I think the only Razer concept that ever really made it to market was Zephyr, which was the mask.
Yeah. Yes, because they had their Project Valerie stolen.
Yeah. Which is a shame.
Which is kind of hilarious, to be honest. Let's be real here. Because I've wanted to see something like that come to fruition, because the concept of it is awesome, and for content creators or the type of media people who go to CES would love something like that.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. All right. Was there something else as well?
Not really, because I looked at that article and they've already talked about all the summary things in it. So
okay,
yeah,
cool.
We're pretty good.
All right, but yeah, Razer always has something cool. They don't disappoint.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I want the desk. Right. I'll say it. I want the desk.
How much you willing to drop on the desk? That's the question.
More than I have.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
It's not going to be cheap. Yeah.
Time for a lien on your home.
Get a car loan.
Exactly.
All you have to do is reverse mortgage your home.
Easy, bro.
Easy.
Yeah.
The thing on your wall is very crooked.
Oh, thank you for noticing.
Okay.
It has been like that since well before we started the Pass the Salt podcast, and I've just refused to change it, mainly to see how many people complain about it.
Okay.
I could easily fix that problem right there. I'm not going to.
You could do it right now if you wanted to.
I could easily do it right now. It'd take me 3 seconds. I'm not going to.
Not gonna.
And what else was there? Also, there's a PC Gamer article about everything at the showcase. I don't think we need. Let me just scroll through it real quick because I think we've gone over just about all of it. Yeah, it talks about Intel,
Yeah,
Nvidia, and AMD.
that's what I said. It's like there's something in that summary article we haven't touched on.
There's one thing that was cool. There was a robot on display at CES that kind of reminded me of the iRobots from that Will Smith movie.
Yeah, that Will Smith movie that's literally called iRobot.
I didn't
based on
remember
the book by Isaac Asimov.
Yeah,
Okay.
My point stands. It was the robot on display was very reminiscent of those robots.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I only watched a small clip about it, but it was pretty cool. It was kind of terrifying.
Yes, they should be.
All right, I think we're good. Moving on to other stuff now.
So let's get out of CES and into other TAT stuff for a little bit.
All right, let's go with the first one there about Mozilla.
Yeah.
All right, pull that up here. All right, got that. Cool. So with the headlining article from The Verge, Mozilla paused accepting crypto donations following backlash. Mozilla.
Why? They've accepted crypto donations since 2014. Read the article.
Yeah. Mozilla, the nonprofit organization that makes the Firefox web browser, announced Thursday that it will be pausing the ability to accept cryptocurrency donations following significant backlash, spurred in the part by Mozilla founder Jamie Wazinski. I suck with the
Jamie Zawinski.
Zawinski.
Yeah.
Who stopped working for Zawinski, who stopped working for Mozilla.org in 1999, tweeted scathing criticism to a December 31st Mozilla tweet promoting that it accepts cryptocurrency donations, and Mozilla began accepting Bitcoin for donations in 2014. Everyone involved in the project should be witheringly ashamed of this decision to partner with planet incinerating Ponzi grifters, Swazinski said on January 3rd. Cryptocurrencies have come under significant scrutiny for their impact on the environment and the fact that the bulk of supposed crypto wealth seems to currently be available to a limited few.
Wow, people who have not had any involvement with the company they helped found for 23 years are upset that it's not exactly the same as their vision was 23 years ago. Fuck off. Fuck off.
Orlander says,
"What it?
iRobot,
is the hard C word
iRobot
bad?
In name only. And the only good thing about that movie is the robot saying no.
Yeah, the movie is much better.
But it says the tweet goes, "Hi, I'm sure that whoever runs this account has no idea who I am, but I founded Mozilla, and I'm here to say." I'm quoting so I can say it. "I'm here to say fuck you and fuck this. Everyone involved in the project should be witheringly ashamed of the decision partnered with planet incinerating Ponzi grifters."
Why? Okay, why hasn't he had a problem about this 7 years ago when they first started doing that? I don't understand. Yeah. What this dude need, honestly. Anyway,
Peter Linz, who made the Gecko engine that underpins Firefox, tweeted his disapproval to Mozilla as well. "What the actual fuck?" he said. You were meant to be better than this, and it's not just them. Many quote tweets of Mozilla in December 31st posts are brutal. On Thursday, Mozilla addressed the situation in a Twitter thread. Last week, we tweeted and reminded that Mozilla accepts cryptocurrency donations, Mozilla said. This led to an important discussion about cryptocurrency's environmental impact. Mozilla said that it will be reviewing if and how our current policy of crypto donations fit with our climate goals. And while the review is taking place, it will be pausing crypto donations. It also promises that the review will be a transparent process and that it will share regular updates. In the spirit of open source, this will be a transparent process and will share regular updates. We look forward to having this conversation and appreciate our community for bringing this to our attention. However, Mozilla isn't completely distancing itself from decentralized technologies like cryptocurrencies, saying that decentralized web technology continues to be an important area for us to explore. I'm glad Mozilla reversed the course here, Lynn said in a tweet DM to The Verge after we published this article. They play a crucial role in keeping the web open and free.
Do you
I'm
know
also
what
great.
also plays a crucial role in keeping the web open and free? The exchange of decentralized currency, like crypto.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But they play a crucial role in keeping the web open and free. I'm also grateful for the support of all fans of Mozilla, helping to keep them accountable to the ideals they were founded under. Zawinski responded to Mozilla's decision in a blog post Thursday evening when he kept his where he kept his sharp criticism. Here's an excerpt. I'm happy for what part I played in getting them to rescind their terrible decision. Cryptocurrencies are not only an apocalyptic ecological disaster and a greater fool pyramid scheme, but are also incredibly toxic to the open web, another idea that Mozilla used to
What?
support. So I hope that after they conduct their review, the conclusion they reach is an obvious one. Buried in the desert and wear gloves.
Yes, please envision a future where there's no way to anonymously exchange transactions. Please tell me more about how that's better for an open web.
Uh,
No. Please, fuck off. You're a fucking
Mozilla,
moron.
Mozilla is just the latest company to take heat for its involvement with cryptocurrency and blockchain technologies. Tesla was lambasted for its decision to accept Bitcoin as payment last year and has reversed their policy soon after. And gaming companies have recently been heavily criticized for their NFT efforts.
Okay,
With
that's
develop,
different than cryptocurrency, though.
it's all sorted in the blockchain, so I can see why they're trying to
Yeah.
compare the two. But with developers like upcoming game Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl, so far to entirely cancel its NFT plans in response to outcry. Oh, let's see. I think there's a
Why
couple
is
things here.
just now a problem? Like, have the founders just like fucked off so much from Mozilla so much that they didn't realize they started doing it in 2014? If you're
See,
if you're Mozilla and you got such a harsh response all of a sudden, it's like you have to be wondering like what the hell, you know?
yeah, right.
Yeah.
But Oleander says, CEO homie, while I'm mad about crypto, I'm not going on a high horse about it and being whiny like a petulant child. Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
NEG Quantum says, crypto environmental impact. What, Lamau? The environmental impact is the amount of like GPUs and things just running
hmm
blockchains and things like that. That's the environmental impact that it has
hmm
with that type of stuff.
Yeah. So just to lay out
Only,
my position on crypto, I believe fundamentally decentralized, anonymous way of exchanging transactions online. Fantastic idea, right? I think that's
Mhm.
has a ton of value, and I think
Yeah.
anyone who's sensible can agree with that. Crypto is the current medium to do it, and so crypto is the current medium to do it with, and not every cryptocurrency is perfect. There's Bitcoin, which is the standard. There's Ethereum, which is good. None of those are Ponzi schemes or whatever, or pyramid schemes, however you want to call them.
What about Squid Game coin?
Yeah, there are some shit coins like that are pump and dumps and are pyramid schemes and whatnot, and that kind of give crypto a bad name. But there's even like meme coins are okay, like Dogecoin. That's not a pyramid scheme, unless it's Elon's pyramid scheme. I don't know. Um,
Who knows? Just go through some comments real quick. Oleander says you can blame carbon and energy usage. Energy. Okay, a little bit of nerd awakens. I quote says fucking morons. Energy quantum. Do the money printers IRL not run off of energy? I think IRL money generates more CO2 than crypto. To be fair, most money
I
nowadays is like what's the
okay,
percentage? Like 95, 90%, 98% digital or something like that.
yeah, yeah,
So there's it's more people punching in a couple zeros into the
hmm
national debt than anything. Let's be honest.
right.
Especially in countries using green energy. Okay, that's fair.
Okay. Yeah. So okay, actually one of our stories that we can talk about later is going to I'm going to touch on like energy usage and stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah,
In fact, actually it should be the net story. Talk
yeah, I
about
think we're pretty
Kosovo.
good. Yeah. Uh, kind of lay out like my stance with that type of stuff. Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I do believe in a decentralized way of being able to handle that type of stuff.
Mhm.
Um, when it comes to more legitimate type blockchains like Bitcoin, Ethereum, even Dogecoin, um, I don't get the appeal of NFTs as the moment because there's nothing just because you own an NFT that doesn't hold up in court. That's my issue.
The idea is that it's like a blockchain proving that you own something would hold up in court. Like math proving that you own it would hold up in
Yeah.
court. And I think there is. So, okay, let me be very clear about this. NFTs currently are horrible. I think the idea of being able to mathematically verify ownership of something is good.
Yes.
So
I just the way they
yeah.
are currently
The way they are currently implemented is absolute
is
dog
garbage.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah. And
NFTs are fantastic for money laundering. Exactly.
very true. That is
Let me just
my
sell you this picture of an ape wearing a stupid hat, and then I can write off 60 grand worth of taxes.
Yeah, no, that's my thing about it all. It's like that's what the high-end art world is for.
Mhm.
Is hey, you earned 20 million this year. Let me hire this artist to like paint something for like $1,500.
Yeah.
Then I get my appraiser friend to appraise it for 20 million.
Mhm.
What do? Donate that to my charity.
Right.
So I donate 20 million in value to a charity. So I don't owe anything in taxes.
It's baller. Yeah. My stance on Oleander's stance on cryptocurrency is it exists, it's not good or bad, it's just there, similar things with NFTs. I feel like the vast majority of people have that opinion also, just like, oh, it's there, you know. There's some people, there's some people who are super into it as a way and everything, and then there's some people who are just like very much against it also, up for whatever reason, which, all right, yeah, we can talk, let's do this next article, and then I can talk about some of the energy stuff.
Yeah, let's go into it. So let me pull that up here. Brought to you by the BBC. Kosovo bans cryptocurrencies mining after blackouts. Kosovo, is that a country?
Yes.
Is it a?
It's a Balkan state.
Okay, so it is a Slavic country.
No, that you're thinking of a Baltic state. This is a Balkan state. So
I misheard it then.
No, you're good.
All right, but with it, the government says security services will identify and clamp down on sources of crypto mining. The mining is energy intensive and involves verifying digital transactions to get cryptocurrencies as a reward. While all of Europe faces sharp price rises, Kosovo is enforcing rolling blackouts amid electricity shortage. The Balkan state, largest coal-fired power plant, was shut down last month over a technical issue, forcing the government to import electricity at high prices. A 60-day state of emergency declared in December gave the government powers to allocate more money for energy imports and impose stricter restrictions on power usage. You know, maybe nuclear would be a good response, but every country is being dumb about it and shutting them down. But the blackouts have sparked protests and calls for resignation of Economy Minister Artane
Rizvanoli.
I'm trying. Rizvanoli. Energy prices are skyrocketing across Europe for various reasons, including low supplies from Russia and high demand for natural gas as economies recover from the COVID-19 pandemic. The spike has been fueled by geopolitical tensions with Russia, which supplies one-third of Europe's gas, and Russia has rejected European accusations that it has limited gas deliveries, while tensions are raised over the conflict in eastern Ukraine. Is there officially a conflict?
Yes. That's actually going back to so that goes back to 2014 during the invasion of Crimea, as well as the recent stuff around Donetsk lately.
Okay, because I know there's been troops migrating towards the border, but I wasn't aware if there was a conflict.
Yeah. Baltic is around the Baltic Sea. Baltic countries are Latvia, Estonia, and Lithuania. Thank you. Let's do it.
Thank you.
Yeah. We're gonna do like a little live map check here. I'll pull one. I'm just saying just like for people to better visualize it and whatnot.
Yeah.
I'm not doubting Oleander is correct. I'm not doubting Oleander.
Energy Quantum says, I want to donate a stupid PNG of a monkey in a hat to St. Jude's. That'd be hilarious. Oh my god. Just print it out and hand it to a kid. Say, hey, here's your cure, boy.
Yes.
But while you're doing that, I'll just read a little bit because there's not much left in the article. It says mining cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin involve connecting computers, usually specialized mining machines, to the currency network on the internet. By providing computing power for varying transactions on that network, mining machine owners are rewarded with newly generated currency, making it a potentially lucrative exercise. Yep, that is. Yeah,
Here's the map.
I
Map
I do.
break. Yep. Baltic Sea, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. And then
Yep.
down here in the Balkan states, which has a bunch of problems, you have Kosovo, this tiny little country here. Anyway,
I can't. Where's I can't see it.
I wouldn't consider these people Slavic
There it is.
necessarily. They're a
Yeah.
little bit too far south, but I guess it's kind of up to interpretation on how you feel about that. So
I was misinterpreting what you said. So
no, I'm just
all
saying
good
me
there.
personally, I wouldn't, because I know
Yeah,
some people consider like Slovakia and Romania Slavic, but I don't really
Mhm.
do. But anyway,
Yeah. Just to finish this up real quick, it says, however, it requires enormous computing power, which in turn uses huge amounts of electricity. Until recently, Kosovo boasted one of Europe's cheapest electricity rates. In this environment, crypto mining became popular among young people in Kosovo. The practice is particularly popular in northern areas of Kosovo, where ethnic Serbs do not recognize the state's independence and refuse to pay electricity bills.
based.
Concerned about the environmental impact of the practice, other countries such as China and Iran have cracked down on crypto mining. Last year, Iran announced a 4-month ban because it was draining more than 2 gigawatts from the power grid each day.
Damn.
Jesus.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about this, right? So it's like big thing last year or the past couple of years was the big migration of crypto farms into China. And
Yeah.
why was that? China was in a very prime position. Their energy was cheap. Their energy was very cheap. And it was easy to get all the parts you needed because either China or Taiwan would manufacture it and it would hit that market 1st. And large amounts of space and power. I consider Slovakia Central Europe, much like the Czech Republic. Same. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
that's fair.
All right. Anyway, I love how we all agree on geography. Anyway,
What? How? Quick test. Is India Asian?
all right. So China, for its migration into like crypto and everything, was because power. It had a bunch of things going for it, right?
Yeah.
Government cracked down on it. They needed
Mhm.
another place to migrate. They migrated a little bit west into Europe and everything, right?
Mhm.
Into some of the poorer Central and Eastern European countries and whatnot. Kosovo being one of them. Kazakhstan being another, and that's actually part of the reason why I don't want to say crypto caused the downfall of the Kazakhstani government in the past week, but
It
what
was the
happened?
straw.
Kind of. So basically, what happened is that there was enough crypto mine farms going into Kazakhstan because power was also cheap there, and it's easy to get around Asia, get parts from Asia, stuff like that, and everything.
Mhm.
Kazakhstan had that going for it, but the grid couldn't handle the farming, so there'd be power rations, the price of energy went up, etc., and whatnot. You know, so it's like you need to do that. And so people revolted, that the power prices went up, partially due to crypto. Kosovo, as it said, was apparently also one of these places that the crypto went to because power was cheap. And the thing is, though, is that it's like the miners are charging the thing that all these areas have in common, obviously, is the power is cheap, and that's because they still rely on older, what we wouldn't consider green technologies for power. Because it's very cheap, still very effective and everything. But it kind of feeds into the whole like environmental bitching that people have about cryptocurrency, is because a vast majority of it is done with coal power, because that's where the crypto farms are, because that's where, that's where the power is cheapest and they did better return, and it was just this whole thing.
Which is pretty. Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
So
I
what
know
I'm
a
saying,
lot.
you need to go to the Chernobyl exclusion zone. You need to go to the Chernobyl exclusion zone, and then power all your crypto farms off the background radiation. Okay.
Jesus. You're not wrong though. Use the boiling lake to power everything.
Yes.
But India is technically a part of Southwest Asia, I would think.
All right. Well, here I'm gonna pull up the map again. Let's talk about this.
I opened up this can of worms and I don't regret it in the
Yes.
slightest. You're all welcome.
All right, let's talk about this because I would. Okay, so hold on, let me switch the scene. There we go. All right, so here we go. Kazakhstan is, if we at least baseline, this is at least considered what we would consider like the Middle East and everything, as well as like Kazakhstan and everything. This area here is at least Central Asia, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. India, I think, and okay, hear me out on this. India, I think, is a part of where you would start considering Eastern Asia.
Okay.
Just because I'm going to tie a little bit of culture into it. Buddhism and Hinduism, which goes through undisputedly Southeast Asia and everything, you know, like Thailand, Vietnam, everything, that's undisputedly Southeast Asia, are all very Hinduistic, Buddhist, etc.
All right.
That's why I would argue that India is kind of the start of what we would consider East Asia.
Yeah.
Geography with Tet for thought. Exactly.
Yeah. Rise Grease does say that's why you just use your neighbor's power to mine. Your conscience is clear. Meanwhile, that bastard of a neighbor is ruining the world.
That's pretty good.
That is good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
What my parents did on their property for a while when they didn't have power, they would just run a long ass extension cable over from one of the neighbors and just siphon their power.
Yeah.
They pay them, of course, but yeah, it was just fun.
That's really good. Yeah.
I think we're good for our last story, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I think so. Hold stop with the map.
There we go.
Anyway, that's my rationale behind why India is the start of East Asia. So
Oleander says fair enough.
okay. I mean, if someone wants to debate me, they can. I'm down. But
India is its own country or continent. Don't at me.
considering, yeah, it's like Indonesia or not Indonesia. Sorry, Indo-Asia is the official part of the is like the official name of the continent. Then yeah, that's kind of fair. All right. Anyway,
on to the last bit of news here.
lots of crypto stories this week.
Very much so. But Norton has a crypto miner for PCs that can't be easily uninstalled. Norton, a large, sometimes controversial crypto or cybersecurity company, I almost said crypto security. Cybersecurity company has recently released Norton Crypto as part of a Norton 360, which allows users to mine the Ethereum cryptocurrency while their computers remain idle. However, some are claiming that the company does not give them the option to uninstall the program.
Jesus Christ.
Norton Crypto does not run full time in the background. Users can manually switch it on and off, and the users are put into a pool of other Norton Crypto users to improve efficiency, and everyone shares the reward of mining. Commies. This is meant to be a simple and safe way to mine
bullshit.
This is some commie bullshit. It's some commie gobbledygook.
I know.
However, according to Maxius and other users, there's no way to fully opt out of the program, and you can actually have to dig into encrypt.exe in your computer's directory to delete it. That may not seem like a big deal, but Norton has a rocky relationship with its user base, and the company has seen controversy in the past for poor transparency and not entirely deleting files when uninstalled. Norton Crypto is not compatible with every system, and it has specific hardware requirements to run. Users will need an Nvidia graphics card and at least 6 gigabytes of memory and at least Windows 7 and newer. Red team for the win, I guess.
Right.
But Norton Crypto does not support macOS or Windows 10s.
See,
Norton
interesting.
Right. Norton also takes a sizable cut of the cryptocurrency once it's mined. The company takes 15% off the top, as well as a variable transaction fee when you move the crypto to a different wallet. Considering users are already paying to use services, it seems like a solid takeaway for Norton.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Beyond the difficult method for opting out of Norton Crypto, that doesn't seem to be any major security concern as of yet. If you have Norton 360 and don't want to use the mining feature, just make sure it's off. and just to keep an eye on it to make sure no one else is using your hardware for their own gain. And Digital Trends has reached out to Norton to comment and will update this piece with a response accordingly.
And it does not look like there has been a comment yet.
Raspberries says, I serve the Soviet Union. Yeah, facts.
What kind of commie bullshit shared computing scheme is this?
Right?
Yeah. So, obviously, this isn't good. And this is exactly the why cryptocurrency gets a bad rap from normies.
So, let me ask.
Yeah.
Norton VPN. Would you accept a sponsorship from them now?
Nord and Norton are different.
Oh, I was thinking, my bad.
Okay. Norton has a VPN built into its antivirus software also, but that's different than Nord VPN, which is...
I was thinking Nord VPN.
Oh, okay.
That's my bad there.
But your question still stands. I would still
similar.
accept a sponsorship from Nord VPN.
But if Norton was to try to sponsor...
No.
Okay.
Because pay-for antiviruses are dumb.
Very much so. Oh my god, this is some this is some commie bullshit. Why? Norton, cease your communism. Liberty Prime Online.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah.
Very true.
I don't know. I also feel like it's like the people who have the hardware requirements to run Norton's thing wouldn't be using Norton in the first place. Like,
yeah,
I mean, one thing if they're using normies like i3 laptops to mine crypto or something, but yeah.
All I have to say is Windows Defender for the win.
Pretty much, that's good enough in most cases. Like, as long as you're not being completely stupid.
Yeah, to be fair, if anything was going to happen, Norton is not going to protect you.
Exactly.
Let's be honest. If somebody is truly trying to get to your stuff, it's not going to help.
Yeah. And I wonder how easily exploitable a bad actor could be with this. You know,
that's a good question. Everybody's hooked up to the same blockchain, so
right, yeah, in many different ways. You know, people secretly running this. Nor are VPN peeps, nor are commie antivirus peeps. At least it's not McAfee with the baggage that's only there because of the founder. You say baggage, I say benefits. You're telling me you don't want to run an antivirus that was coded by the founder doing copious amounts of cocaine
off of a hooker's ass.
Exactly.
You know that man is wild.
He was. Nothing that... Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Rest in power. King.
Rest in power, King.
Exactly. Okay.
I'm. It's just Norton is just like one of the worst.
Very much so.
Yeah. I'm not surprised. It's not uncommon for other given applications to or like just also run crypto miners in the background.
Mm-hmm.
I know very prominent CSGO third-party matchmaking service, ESEA.
ESEA, yeah, that was in their anti-cheat.
Yeah. They had a crypto thing running their anti-cheat, which was it would take up like 20% of your available like performance. And everybody was fucking pissed.
Understandably so, yeah.
It's also rumored that iPhone does it as well, but there's no proof of it.
I would believe it because my battery drains quite a bit more on iPhone than like on Twitter or Reddit or something. So yeah. I would almost believe that.
Yeah, that's one of the arguments, but nobody's been able to prove it. So
okay,
either they're really sneaky about it, or or it's true. NEG Quantum says Norton just has been the same ever since he heard that I read about it in a Dr. Seuss.
It's Horton Hears a Who and whatnot. That joke. Yeah, it's funny. I assure you, it's funny. Did you ever see that movie? It was pretty good. It was cute.
I have seen the movie. I'm just more disappointed in the reference.
Oh.
Raspberry to say, yeah, iPhone definitely is doing shit.
I would believe
they're Russians too, so it'd make sense.
That would, yeah, 100%.
It is a Russian-owned funny app.
Uh-huh.
Well, I think Oleander says, I mean, to be fair, if I was a computer virus, I would rather be beat by a program that was made by a guy who's a Hunter S. Thompson of programming as in all the drugs.
Yeah, at least your opponent was worthy at that point, you know?
Yeah. That man could program for 3 days straight.
It wasn't made by a bunch of basement dwellers, you know, contributing to an open source project. It was made by, yeah, I am joking, of course. Yeah.
It was made by a man.
Exactly.
All right. I think that really does it for this time around. Any water cooler combos you want to have? Any other like?
I'm almost inclined to figure out how to check if iFunny would be doing that. I think I know of a method.
It'd be interesting to see. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have iFunny on your phone?
Yes, I do, because of all the links you send me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a very good app, to be fair.
That mines crypto on your phone.
Yeah. And G Quantum with the water cooler spam. Love to see it. Hey, if you ever do, like any of you guys that watch and ever do wish to support, we always do have that membership. And just click that join right below the dislike button. If you wish to, just like $5 a month, you help support the channel, help us buy new equipments and stuff like that. We do have it's a new year, so we're looking to grow.
Hell yeah.
Feels good, man. But I think that does it for the first stream of 2022.
Yeah, solid stream.
I enjoyed it.
All right.
Raspberries Reborn with the water cooler spam.
Love it.
It's doing it so much I have to I have to like uncensor it.
Oh.
But as we wrap up, of course, we do ask if you. Oh my god! I have to click show every time you spam it. I hope you know it. Well, if you do wish to support the channel in other ways, we do ask that you subscribe and like the video. It does mean a lot, especially to the algorithm, to help spread our stuff. But if you wish to be more proactive in the spreading, we do have a couple platforms you can do it on, such as it's our Twitter at tech_4, the number 4_thought, or our Instagram at tech_, spelled FOR_thought. We should probably gonna. The big goal this year being definitely more active on those programs or those platforms, so we can try to get more traction. Would be lovely.
Yes.
And like I said, we have our membership. If you do wish to more directly support the channel, we always really do appreciate the support that anybody gives us on that front, because it does go towards the equipment budget. It helps us make better videos and review more things.
Yes.
And I think that kind of wraps it up. Taylor, where can the good people find you on the internet?
Find me on Twitter at Infurious7809. That is at INFERIUS7809. Mostly anime stuff over there. So
yeah. And if you wish to find me, you could find me at Filmed by G-Man, because G-Man Films was taken, which is my usual moniker. Because I kind of reserved that since the good old play day of YouTube playthroughs. Feels good. Yeah, so I think that kind of wraps up. Of course, we do always thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
See you guys in the next one. Have a good one.
Okay. See you.